Tôi muốn làm tin. Trời ơi, nó bự quá cho tôi.
Tycker ta mig fan du börjar balla ur ja.
I don't lie at all. Just dive in.
Welcome.
Welcome, hello.
We've been asked by Finding Erotica to do a little video blog here for you to talk about what we do. So we thought it'd be easiest by answering questions that we're asked frequently. First one always is, who are you?
That's a good question. Hi, my name is Tracy Gnojek, and I am a person who considers myself as a Neo-Tantra educator, and I'm also an artist and a person who really loves life.
Great.
Who are you?
Who am I? My name's Stambula. I co-teach with Tracy. I'm also a Tantra educator and an intimacy coach. But more than anything else, I am just a regular person that has a lot of fun.
You know, many journeys are long, and at the time they can seem confusing, and walking into the unknown can seem scary. And I have to say my journey has been all of that. Where I am today makes me really happy that I've taken this journey. So I started out as a very young child growing up in a religion that was oppressive, and I really bought into it. I thought it was the only way. So my journey has taken me on through a long marriage, but there came a point in time when we separated, and then I was left on my own to really discover who am I. And so it really started when I was living with a dear friend of mine, and she asked me the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? The only thing I could ever imagine teaching is sex, because sex was a bit of taboo in the religion that I was raised in. And so I pursued that more and signed up for my first course. And it was, as a single woman, I went with a friend, but it was a journey of exploring sexuality in a way that I had never really been presented to before. So that was about 4 years ago, maybe even a little longer by now. And I met Deb there, and our journeys, our roads came together, and I'm really enjoying it. I love what I do. I have a passion for what I do, what we do. And I think and I hope that that passion comes through in our sharing to the world.
I think I was on the path really early, and then I sort of got sidetracked and then found my way back. It's that old story of what were the things that you loved to do when you were a little kid? Bring them back into your life in times when you're not sure where your focus is. And likely, you know, if you liked playing with crayons when you were a kid, you're going to like playing with crayons when you're grown up, just in a different way. So for me, I remember being very sexual at a very young age. I was just very exploratory and very curious, and it felt good. I was very much a sensualist even back then, in a very innocent and simplistic way. It was unusual for me because this was in a time, the early 70s, and yes, we had the sexual revolution, but it still wasn't appropriate for young girls to be sexual in the way that young boys were. And that never really made a lot of sense to me. It was like, well, why can my friends who are boys, go out and, get attaboys for sleeping with 10 girls on a weekend, and, I have to remain chaste. So I never subscribed to that philosophy. I got to a certain age where my explorations, shall we say, became a little more exotic, and I scared myself. And so I found a nice man to marry. He had very limited experience. He was a very free spirit, just a way about me that didn't mesh with his very traditional values. And eventually I got to a point where I felt like I was dying on the vine. If I didn't leave that marriage, I didn't want that. And so I chose to save myself. It was the hardest thing I ever did, but it was the best thing I ever did. As I said earlier, you migrate back to the things that brought you the greatest pleasure when you were a child. And I rediscovered my sexuality, and I blossomed. It was important for me to share what I had learned. That was a really precious gift that I received, was not only creating community with other women, but healing those old wounds around sexuality and, shame and not being enough.